Welcome to the SVG-TV news for Thursday, April 17th. I'm Carol Cato with the details for tonight. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment is quelling reports that the Chikungunya virus is now in SVG. Over the last few days, reports have been circulating that there are cases of the virus on the Grenadine island of Bequia. However, the Ministry of Health, in a media release earlier today, stated that there are no confirmed cases here. The release said that the ministry, through the National Surveillance Committee, continues to monitor the situation and is making efforts to detect and contain the virus should it hit these shores. The Ministry of Health is urging all citizens to remain vigilant and to take all the necessary precautions to prevent the breeding of mosquitoes in and around homes. According to the ministry, chikungunya is characterized by an abrupt onset of fever, which is frequently accompanied by joint pain. Other common signs and symptoms include muscle pain, headache, nausea, fatigue, and rash. Persons manifesting these signs and symptoms of the virus are advised to contact their healthcare providers or to immediately seek medical attention. Farm management is said to be critical for farmers who borrowed monies from the Ministry of Agriculture's Farmer Support Program. That's according to Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, speaking at a news briefing today. Caesar noted that it is one thing for farmers to borrow monies, but it is important that their farms are managed properly to repay the loans on time.
It's one thing for the government to on-lend. It's one thing for the Farmer Support Company to be out there doing the assessment and doing the work. But at the end of the day, a lot of the work in terms of the management and the care is left with the farmer. The Ministry of Agriculture is going to be there with you. We're going to put our hands around your shoulder. We're going to walk with you, but we're asking for that very important partnership.
Caesar noted that the repayment of loans will be based on the type of products produced and how long they take to harvest.
There may be an existing planting farmer with 4 acres of plantings, but he is now hearing that monies are being on loan, that monies are being provided from the Farmer Support Company for production. So that farmer with the 4-acre block has 5 acres of land that he wants to go into 5 acres more. So he borrows some money from the Farmer Support Company. From the day he borrows, if he's selling plantings every week, he can, from the first week after borrowing, start to repay, because he's into production selling plantings. So that also will have to be dealt with on his case specifically based on his production. Then you may have a young farmer who has stopped sailing. His grandmother has 5 acres of land, but it is covered with marjoram and black sage. He now has to get money from the company to clear the land, but he may have a little thing put aside from his sailing days he may want to tap into. But let's say he doesn't have anything put aside. We would have to wait until he reaps.
Meanwhile, Caesar said there are 1,200 applicants spanning from every district across the country who want to access the funding from the $6 million Farmers Support Program. He said the ministry is hoping to deal with all these applications by May 14th.
Expect that between now and May the 14th, we'll be able to have a positive response for the 1,250 farmers who would have applied. I know that some farmers are saying that I had a visit from an extension officer and he came to my farm 2 weeks ago and I have not been able to receive any monies as yet. But I'm asking and pleading for the patience of the farming community, because it is a loan program. Whilst we're working to execute the loans speedily, we have to ensure that we dot all the I's and we cross all the T's.
The minister noted that the communication between some farmers has been difficult, but they are doing their best to contact them.
But I think all in all, I can say that we have been working in a very steadfast manner, and that those farmers who have received already, who have drawn down already, are extremely happy. And I want to just note that those farmers who would have applied, who have not yet drawn down as yet, that your drawing down period will be coming very soon.
The 18th Biennial Convention of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, held at the Georgetown Secondary School, was a significant one for the organization. The event witnessed the installation of its newly elected executive and the honoring of 2 stalwarts for their contribution to the union and to the teaching profession. However, as we hear in this report from Zuleika Lewis, not all members turned out for the event.
All teachers must unite as one. All work hand in hand.
Their song spoke of the need to unite, while their team highlighted the need for a collaborative approach. But the low turnout at the 18th Biannual Convention of the SVG Teachers Union could be seen as an indication that there might be some hindrance to achieving these objectives. President of the SVG-TU, Oswald Robinson,
so this conference is by no chance.
Better in the
That's why the team is saying collaborate
better.
Everybody must be involved, because we are charged with the responsibility to educate the nation. And this is not the time to sit back as teachers and go to school late and not doing our work. Yes, we have to defend you and protect your job as a trade union, but the other side is saying we have to be professionals. We cannot condone delinquency in the teaching profession.
Solidarity messages were read by the SVG-TU's first Vice President, Rilla Board, who cited the support of other regional bodies to the SVG-TU. General Secretary of the SVG Labour Congress, Joy Matthews, also commended the union on hosting the 18th Biennial Convention. Representing the Ministry of Education, Senior Education Officer Asphel Stevens brought greetings on behalf of the ministry. He pointed out that the feeble excuses given by teachers for their absence in school were unacceptable.
We have in our system today teachers recording over 2,000 minutes late per month. We have teachers who are absenting themselves from school with very poor excuses. The child wake up and I have to stay home to comfort her. There are teachers who are sending in excuses such as, I can't help being late because I didn't feed my dog on time. Some are saying, I have to take some days off because I have to take my animals to the vet.
Meanwhile, Deputy Director of the SVG Community College, Nigel Scott, was the convention's featured speaker. Scott received a standing ovation for his presentation on quality education for collaborative approach, which highlighted the need for better parents, teachers, and students. The newly elected executive was also presented to the public. For SVG-TV News, I am Zuleika Lewis.
Carmela Smart and Tyrone Burke were honored at the 18th Biennial Conference for their contribution to the development of education in SVG. The education stalwarts received their plaques of appreciation for going above and beyond their years of service for the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union and the education development of SVG. Burke has served as former president of the SVG-TU, while Smart has been highly regarded, that is, as a stalwart in the Mariquois Valley.
of this illustrious son of the soil for 40 years of outstanding contribution towards the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines via education, and for being an exemplary stalwart of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union. When she was transferred, many parents in Mariupol complained that the ministry had moved the best teacher from the valley. In September 1979, parents' joy was restored when she was returned to her former school and alma mater, the Mariupol Government School. And we are pleased to mention that even after 7 years of retirement, this SVGTU stalwart still faithfully pays her union dues.
Expressing thanks on behalf of his colleague, Burke outlined the need for teachers to join in solidarity for the development of the union.
You know, we have always said, and Mr. Brum reminded me this morning, that once a teacher, always a teacher. And even though some of us might have taken different departure, different career path along the way, we still continue to see ourselves as teachers. And I want to thank the union very much. And I also want to encourage you to support the union, to take leadership position, and to try and advance this union and keep it strong. We cannot do the things by ourselves, so we need the organization.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has been ordered to stay at home and rest for an injury he sustained to his ankle. In a release from the Prime Minister's office, it states that the Prime Minister has been working out of his official residence since Tuesday and will continue to do so into the weekend. But the Prime Minister has been forced to cancel his trip to Jamaica, where he was expected to deliver the keynote address at the annual Norman Manley Law School lecture today, and a rally on reparations organized by the Institute of the Black World slated for Chicago tomorrow. Minister of Foreign Affairs Camilo Gonsalves represented the Prime Minister at today's event in Jamaica, while Professor Sir Hilary Beckles will speak on his behalf in Chicago on Friday. The Scout movement in SVG celebrates its centenary anniversary in Georgetown. Members appalled. We have more stories on the local scene when we return. Welcome back to the evening news. We're still on the local scene. The centenary anniversary celebrations of Scouting here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is today being celebrated with less than 1% of its members being in conflict with the law. 100 years ago on this date, Scouting was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and has since molded thousands of males and females across the country. Speaking at the centenary and Thanksgiving celebrations earlier today at the Georgetown Methodist Church, President of the SVG Scout Movement, Kenrick Murray, says despite the many challenges over the years, the organization can boast of having a criminal record of less than 1%. Murray says such a feat was only possible through the discipline instilled in its members.
And the various exciting indoor and outdoor activities conducted, many parents gravitated towards the Scout movement and ensured that their son proudly wore the uniform. During the last decade, we experienced some turmoil within the movement, which caused a decline in the Scout section. This decline was due mainly to allegations which were made against some of our experienced Scout leaders at our top school. The movement, along with the Ministry of Education dealt with the matter, and those leaders were expelled from the movement. However, during this time, there was significant growth in the Cub Scout section. Let us put the past behind and move forward in confidence.
Murray adds that the Scout movement in SVG is staying focused on its 2014 theme, rebuilding the movement in 2014 and beyond.
Our first aim is to make Scouts more visible in the community and at national ceremonies and this we hope to achieve by investing a minimum of 100 scouts during this year. We have begun the process with one secondary school and one community-based organization preparing for investiture very soon. They are being assisted by our district commissioners. We will be going into the communities and secondary schools where there are no scout troops to try and identify persons who will be willing to be trained as leaders to begin a troop in that school or community. We are appealing to parents, especially males, and head teachers to assist us in this area.
Meanwhile, the Scouts president is calling on the parents to come on board with the movement to help save the nation's youth, especially the boys.
Boys between the ages of 11 and 18 need astute leadership and proper guidance to prevent them from going astray and becoming members of the crime movement. The Scout movement can save these young men and help them to earn the 3 R's of society. I can assure you that after 6 months, you will be amazed at their achievements. Let them join a Scout troop. Where there is no Scout troop in your community, assist the movement to identify a responsible and reliable person in that community to form a troop. Fathers who have abandoned their role as leaders and head of their homes, I'm appealing to you to take your responsibility and help in the molding of your children, and more so your sons, by becoming a father to them and not a visitor.
And representing Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at the historic Centenary and Thanksgiving service, Area Representative for North Windward Montgomery Daniel extended congratulations to the SVG Scouting Organization in its 100th year of existence.
Let me also express my deepest appreciation to the President and other executive members of this scouting organization for having been entrusted with the responsibility of the organization at this time. I know that it is a proud moment for you, and for those of you and the executive who are carrying on the legacy of this scouting organization, I know it is a moment when you are indeed proud, and certainly you want to make sure that the organization continues in the best way possible.
Today, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Girl Guides Association officially commenced its camp, dubbed Euromay Splash 100, as part of its centenary celebrations. Over 180 regional participants are here for the camp at Black Point in Georgetown. A release from the SVG Girl Guides Association says the camp is being held under the theme Ever Alive, Celebrate and Thrive. International Commissioner Beverly Reddock highlights that Georgetown is the home of guiding in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that it is most fitting to have the camp there, just a few meters away from where guiding started at the Georgetown Methodist Church in 1914. The campers will be grouped in 6 sub-camps: Garifuna, Memoirs of Hyruna, Jewels of the Caribbean, Pristine Waterfalls, Vincy Mass, and Gems. With just a few weeks remaining in the Child Abuse Month 2014, emphasis is being placed on identifying early signs of child abuse. Speaking on the Hitstock program recently on the topic, Measures to Protect Children Against All Forms of Abuse, specifically sexual abuse, Superintendent of Police Ruth Jacobs, who is also representing the National Commission for the Rights of the Child, explains that the Commission is this year celebrating Child Abuse Month under the theme, Let Our Voices Be Heard. Let us know you care. Break the silence. Jacobs explains that a number of activities have been organized to commemorate the month.
We have activities like morning devotions at different schools, and about 2 Mondays ago we went to different schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to speak to our children during the assembly period about breaking the silence on sexual abuse. Also, there was a talk by the Governor General declaring the month. There is to be parenting workshops at Greg's, Spring Village, Grenadines, Canberra, preschools, and in the community. There is also to be a cultural week in Spring Village and Oya, and there is to be radio quiz and radio program, TV program, and newspapers on childhood articles.
And school guidance counselor Laverne Simon says during the month, the issue of child safety is a critical factor.
Children, they have rights to live in an environment that is free from abuse and neglect. We are also aware that these children spend a large amount of time within the school system, which give our educators more access to students than most other professionals. And for this purpose, we need to enlighten them, to enlighten parents and guardians of science and the reporting aspect of it, of how to prevent our children from abuse and sexual abuse.
The 2014 SVG Gospel Festival will continue this weekend with a number of activities around the country. The staging of the Beckway Zonal Gospel Showcase is taking place at this moment at the Beckway Community High School in Port Elizabeth. The Hope for Life Restoration Ministries in Arnesville will be the venue on Good Friday evening for a special presentation of Hosanna, a spectacle of dance, drama, and song to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. On Saturday, the festival moves to the Peace Memorial Hall for an evening of dance from 6 o'clock entitled Praise Him in the Dance. This will feature some 15 gospel dance groups from around the country on one stage. The zonal showcases will be staged on Sunday evening in 4 zones from 6 p.m. North Leeward will be at the Pettibodell Worldwide Mission Church. South Leeward will be at the Barley Square with a concert in conjunction with the Pan Against Crime. Mariquar will be at the Kingdom Life Tabernacle, and North Windward at the Bethel Gospel Assembly in Georgetown. SVG Gospel Fest, which is the major gospel festival in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, now into its 12th year, is being celebrated under the theme, Experiencing the Power of God. The community of Cotton Ground in Richland Park will be hosting its first ever Easter Princess Pageant this weekend. President of the Cotton Ground Cultural Organization, Marissa Gurley, says the pageant will be held at the Big City Life Bar and will see participation from children not only from Richland Park, but also surrounding areas.
Else has pageant, everybody knows about Mespo, no one knows of Cotton Ground, that's the area we're from. And so we're going to do this pageant to get a little exposure for people to know not just Mesopotamia has stuff going on in the community, but also Richland Park. The pageant consists of 6 beautiful young ladies, ages 7 to 10. We also going to have different parts in the show. We will have talent. We change up. There won't be any swimwear. We're using sportswear. As these young ladies, we're using sportswear, and then we have their evening wear. We will also be having different aspects in it. We will have a short entertainment section, and then we go back onto the pageant and an after party for the people who will be there after.
And here are the 6 young ladies who will be taking part in the Princess Pageant this Sunday.
My name is Shanna Brenner and I am representing the Lily. Good evening, SVG. My name is Kushani Frederick. I represented the lovely orchid flowers. Good evening to everyone. My name is Tanisha McNicholas. I represent the beautiful rose in the first ever. I am 10 years old, Frankie Riches, representing the beautiful flower Anthurium.
Hello everyone, my name is Maya Wilson.